Hi, boys and girls. Miss Belanca here. I wanted to talk to you about one last lesson for our reading salad. I know that when we started these about 4 lessons ago, I was doing a lot of the work. Well, now it's your turn to do some of the work or most of the work because we've talked a lot about how good readers are real readers. They're not fake readers, they're real readers. They're like the plant that I showed you before. This plant will grow, it will change, and that's what real readers do. So, one of the jobs that we have is to make sure that you're thinking about your reading so that you're growing and changing as a reader. Just to remind you that there are two different colors. The first color of paper, the green, is when you're thinking about the story, and the red is when you're reading the words, the actual words that the author wrote. Now, I think I forgot to tell you this, but if you kept your red or your green little pieces of paper, that's great. You can go and get them. If you want to make new ones, that's fine. Or if you just want to get a red object or a green object, and you can hold them as you're doing the different either reading or thinking. Today I have a story on the screen, and it is called First Grade Stinks. This is one of my favorite books, and there's so much thinking that you can do about this. I'm going to read some pages, and then I'm going to stop and see if you can do some thinking. So the very first I'm going to read, go ahead and take your red piece of paper and put it either in front of you, or if you have a bowl, that's fine. Because right now I'm reading the words. I'm going to read a few pages to you. First Grade Stinks by Mary Ann Rodman. First grade, first day, first grade, I sing. I can't wait. Hang on, this one is going to move this over a little bit. There we go. We're big kids now, Haley, says my friend Ryan as we get off the bus. Little kids stand at the school door holding their parents' hand. Not Ryan and me. We walk into school all by ourselves. Hi, Miss Lacey, we call out to our teacher from last year. Hello, Haley and Ryan. Mrs. Lacey's shirt is the color of daffodils. Her sneakers match. Inside her room, the dragon kite still hangs from the ceiling. Cutouts of leaves cover the wall. Kindergartners push through the door. Kindergartners don't know how to act, I say. Poor little kindergartners, Ryan says. We first graders know how to act. I'm going to stop there. Remember, I was just reading the words, so go ahead and either hold your red object or take your piece of red paper and drop it into your reading salad. I also want to stop and I want you to do some thinking about the first couple of pages, or also you can think about the cover. That's always a good clue for a reader. What is your thinking? What's coming from your head? You can either whisper it, you can tell it to a grown-up if they're around, or you can just think it in your head. Those are the three ways that I'm going to say to share your thinking. I'm going to keep reading. And you can always remember, pause this if you need some thinking time. I'll read the next couple set of pages. We find our new room. Our teacher's shirt is the color of dead leaves. She wears ugly brown sandals. Good morning, she says. My name is Miss Gray. Find the desk with your name on it. She gives us a tiny smile, not a sunny morning smile like Miss Lacey's. This room does not look like Miss Lacey's. Nothing hangs from the ceiling, nothing on the walls, just the alphabet letters over the chalkboard. No kite, no colors, no fun. Miss Gray calls the roll. We stand by our chairs and say who we are and what we like best. Then Miss Gray says, time to write our ABCs. Sasha raises her hand. We had share time first in kindergarten. Mrs. Gray shakes her head. We are too busy for share time right now. Ryan, please hand out the writing paper. I'm going to read one more page and then we'll stop to do some thinking. Remember, right now, you're either holding your red object or you've put a red piece of paper in your reading salad. I'm just reading the words. No fair. Miss Lacey always lets me hand out the paper. No share time, no dragon kite, no smiley teacher in a daffodil shirt. First grade stinks. I'm going to stop. I'm going to hold up my thinking, my green thinking. I want you to think in your head. What happened on those last few pages? What are you thinking about the things that the character is doing or feeling? I'm going to read some more if you need some time. Remember, you can whisper it, talk to a grown-up if they're close, or you can think about it in your head. If you need some more time, just pause the video. Writing is very hard work. I am ready for recess. But when the kindergartner kids march by our door on their way to their first recess, Miss Gray says, "Time for art." She passes around crayons and paper. I raise my hand. "Isn't it time for recess?" "Oh, in first grade, we only have one recess," says Mrs. Gray. "I like art, but I'd rather have recess." Miss Gray looks at our pictures. "Haley, what an interesting sky," she says, but not like she means it. "I like orange skies." So did Miss Lacey. Miss Gray hangs Kirk's picture in the front of the chalkboard. His sky is blue. I want to throw my crayons at Kirk. I'm going to stop. You should be able to do some good thinking at this point in the story. So go ahead and grab your green and think about it in your head. Tell an adult or whisper it. Stop if you need more time. First grade stinks, I tell Ryan at recess. He blinks. I like first grade. I want to pinch Ryan. After recess, we write some more. Haley, your A's and B's are not the same, says Mrs. Gray. Write them again, please. I look at Ryan's letters. They are exactly like the ones over the chalkboard. Eyes on your own work, Haley, warns Mrs. Gray. First grade stinks. We go to lunch. There is only vanilla ice cream, no chocolate. The kindergartner kids ate all the chocolate, says the lunchroom lady. I hate vanilla. Even lunch stinks. Back in our room, Mrs. Gray says, it's story time. Erica raises her hand. What about nap time? In kindergarten, we had naps after lunch. Oh no, I hate nap time. First graders don't take naps, said Miss Gray. No nap time? Maybe first grade doesn't always stink. All right, here's a stopping point as a good reader. Stop and think about what just happened over the last couple of pages. Go ahead and drop your green in there. Miss Gray reads a story about a boy and his dog. They are lost and it's dark, and then Miss Gray closes the book. That's all for today. Time for math. What happens to the boy and his dog? No fair. Last year, Miss Lacey read us whole books with lots of pictures all in one day. Binky Bug was my favorite. In first grade, even the stories stink. Can we go back to Miss Lacey? I whisper to Ryan. Haley, no whispering, says Miss Gray. I can't stand it one more minute. I'm going to stop. This is the time when a reader does their thinking. What are you thinking about? I think. You can always start with I think. That sometimes will help. First grade stinks. The room is very, very quiet. Miss Gray comes to my desk. She looks very, very tall. You're in trouble now, says Ryan. I wish Ryan would dry up and blow away. Miss Gray kneels beside me. What's wrong, Haley? Writing is hard and there's only one recess and the stories don't end right, I say. First grade stinks. Miss Gray smiles. It's a nice smile. That's not the end of the story, she says. Just the end of the chapter. What's a chapter, I ask. It's part of a story. I'll read a chapter tomorrow and a chapter the next day. It might take a week to finish the story. Miss Lacey read Binky Bug all in one day, I tell her. Miss Gray smiles again. In first grade, we read books with chapters. Soon you'll be able to read them yourself. Really? I say. All by myself? Happiness whooshes inside me. Miss Gray nods. That's why we work so hard. It's a lot to remember, isn't it? All right, friends, I'm going to have you stop again. We've done a lot of text reading. Now we need to add some green to our salad. Think about what has happened in the last couple of pages. Once upon a time, a boy and his dog. I smile real big. My heart glows like an orange sky. Miss Gray doesn't look like Miss Lacey or act like Miss Lacey, but she knows how I feel, just like Miss Lacey. I can teach her to like orange skies. Poor kindergartners, they can't read. They take naps. Their books don't have chapters. Kindergarten stinks. First grade is great. All right, this is our last thinking time. The book ended. What are you thinking about the last part in those pages that I just read to you? All right, boys and girls, soon we will be practicing these with the books. We'll be practicing this with the books that we read. So I know that you will be expert thinkers. Have a good rest of your day.